It's Virtual Wars. Let's see who is doing fighting this week in this robot combat TV video series on the internet. I know what I meant. This is Le Chop, a large overhead spinner with two big axes on the end of each arm. It is a highly devastating weapon and can cut through most opponents. However, the control of the robot is something to be questioned, as the bar weighs about half the weight of the actual robot itself, so when the bar spins, the robot just wants to go the other way. Le Chop, while deadly, is low on control. As you can see here, it's ripping the crates to pieces, but after each hit, it needs to realign itself. In contrast, we have Teutonic, a highly controlled bot along the lines of Mortis, with an arm that lifts and an axe that axes. As you can see, the arm is quite powerful, can easily hoist the crate over, and the axe comes out at quite a speed. Not a lot of force though, but as you may know, axes don't do a whole lot of damage in RA2, so the axe is mainly for control and to get aggression points against the opponent. So yeah, it's a Teutonic with its mighty axe. Quite quick axe. It's a nice fast action axe. There we go. Teutonic. Oh, that was an editing error. Let's ignore that.
2, 1.
And Le Chop goes against Teutonic. Le Chop's mighty spinning weapon goes up to speed and is grinding away at Teutonic already. Teutonic coming in with the axe, trying to see if it can stop that spinning weapon on top of Le Chop. Coming in with a ram. The front of Teutonic is thickly armoured, so it doesn't have to really worry about getting damage from Le Chop. Runs into the arena floor, nice one, and Le Chop is having trouble getting to grips with the might that is Teutonic. That is a heavily armoured robot going on right there. If it can get a lift in now, there we go. Oh, it gets flung away by Le Chop. Le Chop getting up to speed again, and whoa, they're dancing around each other. There's the clip from the intro there. Le Chop's axe has managed to catch inside the skirting of Teutonic. The two seem to be stuck together. Do I need to release them? No, they've released each other, and Le Chop trying to self-right. These overhead spinners have very finicky streamex, but Le Chop has managed it using those twin spikes on top to lever itself back over. Teutonic coming in once again, getting smacked away, but the armor withstanding the punishment from Le Chop's mighty axes. Teutonic coming in with a lift, and once again grabs hold of the axe, and Teutonic has managed to grab Le Chop by the weapon and is holding it down. The axe of Teutonic has also been wedged outwards with the force of the impact there. That was a huge impact from the two robots. Teutonic holding on to Le Chop. What can Le Chop really do now? The weapon motor from Le Chop will be struggling, trying to spin up this entire time. In fact, I think that might have broken the weapon motor of Le Chop. I think that motor may have burnt out in that struggle, which means Le Chop is now effectively defenseless with a static spinning bar. Teutonic coming in with that mighty axe and the lift. If it can lift Le Chop over upside down, that is it, out of the competition, as its main weapon and streamex have been taken completely offline. Teutonic once again coming in. Le Chop is still very fast and powerful in the drive, and the axe of Teutonic tries to fire, but I think the spike of Le Chop has gone into the axe mechanism, meaning that it can't fire. The lifting arm sets it free. Good. Teutonic coming in once again with the push. Le Chop lifted off the ground, the axe just limply hanging there. The arm of Teutonic has raised on high. He's not sure what it's doing up there, and brings it back down again. Teutonic once again underneath Le Chop, going to try again with a lift, and can't quite flip Le Chop over. Very wide, very low bot, doesn't particularly want to get flipped over. Le Chop with a ram there. Even with the axe gone, it still does have very powerful drive, designed to counteract the spin-up torque of that weapon. Le Chop once again coming in with a push on Teutonic. Teutonic withstanding it for now. Those skirts on Teutonic doing a lot of work at keeping it grounded. Teutonic trying to use that axe again on Le Chop, trying to gouge away at the side of it, trying to get some damage points in there, and Le Chop has gone over. Le Chop has been flipped over by the mighty flipping arm of Teutonic. Teutonic trying to do some more punishment, but if Le Chop can't self-run, well, I don't think he's going to have time. There's a few seconds left, but I think we can both agree Le Chop did lose that by losing the weapon. Teutonic came back very strong. A nice surprise. And the winner of that fight is Teutonic. Moving on, we've got two more robots that we need to inspect with our Inspecto eyes. This is a very angry box. A large black wedge with black wheels and a black flipper. This robot is all black and very angry. It has a front lifting arm, a lifting scoop if you will, and a throwing arm to chuck opponents away, so it can control and it can throw. Much like a sort of panic attack kind of situation going on with those front lifting forks. But yes, this is a very angry box, and I wouldn't want to get on the wrong end of such an angry box. There we go, there's the flipping arm again, coming out with quite a lot of force down that crate. Good pushing power. This is Garnet, a very large, very red robot with a big spinning drum and a lifting scoop. Garnet is very big, very open, and armoured in aluminium and polycarbonate, meaning it's quite weak to any spinning weapons it comes up against. But Garnet has a large spinning drum taking up most of its mass, powered by a Moto energy motor. Also, a lot of pushing power has gone into this large robot of Garnet. As soon as it's coming in for a ram on that crate, and it misses. Let's hope that that doesn't happen in the fight. So we've got the low and sleek box versus the large and punishing Garnet. Whoa! Garnet's drum already up to speed and hitting very angry box away and grinding away at the side. Garnet lifting up with that scoop to try and get to the soft, vulnerable underbelly of a very angry box. Has been flung through the air, can use that arm to self-right, that won't affect the box. Coming in again, very angry box being wedged up against the arena wall by Garnet, and the drum is now grinding away at the underbelly of box. Very angry box, not a lot it can do here. It's rammed against the arena wall. Garnet will have to release eventually. Box can still self-right, still got a lot of power. That hasn't done anything to affect its weapon. However, it doesn't look like it's driving. Box seems to have stopped. As Garnet killed very angry box already, and Garnet has wedged on top of box. Box can't move. Garnet can't move. Wait, okay, there is some motion there, but who's moving what here? I think box is immobilized and Garnet has wedged itself on top of box. I would say though that the winner of that would be Garnet. I think very angry box lost drive and managed to get itself wedged under there. So yeah, I would go for the winner being Garnet with that one. I think box got obliterated. I actually have my money on box winning that with its powerful flipping arm. But next we have Prototype versus King. Let's have a look at these robots. This is King. Now you may be thinking, this looks familiar. This looks a bit like Royal. And you'd be right, King is in fact an older version of Royal that split off from the main family of robots and became its own thing. King is a much larger version of the Royal design, much more sturdy with a big, powerful spinning egg beater drum at the back of the robot. King is a lot bigger than Royal, so hopefully has a bit more power behind it, but also a larger target to hit. Royal is a lot sleeker and a lot more devastating, but King has its own attributes. And another offshoot of an existing design. We're seeing a few returns this time. This is Prototype. This comes from the same team that made Isotype, which is a similar robot to this. However, this uses its power to have a spinning weapon embedded in the wedge. It's a spinning asymmetrical spinner that can grind away at anything that comes up on that wedge, and it can push around. This is Prototype, not to be confused with a similar looking robot, Isotype. So yeah, this is why you're seeing a few similar looking bots. They are offshoots of the same design and in universe entered by the same team. In reality, it's because I can't scrounge up 128 unique bots. Anyway, here we go. We have King underneath Prototype straight away, but that won't affect Prototype. If King is anything like Royal, it will actually get itself stuck in the Arena 4 flipper, but King is a lot larger and a lot more powerful with that egg beater at the back to grind away. King's a lot more damage focused than Royal ever was. Prototype getting itself ground away underneath, and they have both stopped and wedged each other. Nice one. Come on, free each other. There we go. Prototype coming in again with that spinning weapon. King underneath. Can it flip? There's the big flip going on. Prototype once again being flipped around by King. King pushing. Prototype has got that spinning weapon. If it can get under King, it can start grinding away. However, King is big and King is low. Once again, flipping Prototype into the air. You can see through the top of Prototype, you can see the batteries and the scooter motors or the Bosch motors that are used to power the weapon. I do believe the weapon is a dual amp flow, which is more than powerful enough to to power a horizontal spin of that magnitude. King flipping Prototype once again. King has stopped on the Arena 4 flipper. We can see a few things coming off of Prototype. Prototype underneath King, backing away, ramping up over King. Even though Prototype is probably losing this, it is showing a lot of aggression towards King. Not a lot he can do though against that low wedge, and I thought he was going to come in with a flank then, but couldn't quite get around King. Underneath Prototype once again, Prototype spinning on top of that egg beater drum on the back of King. King flipping, trying to get Prototype upside down. However, I do believe that if it does that, it'll be for the better, as Prototype's weapon will be easier and easier to hit King with. However, Prototype staying the right side up. Another wheel slice, another quarter of a wheel gets caught on top of Prototype. King once again stuck. King has stopped. I think the drive on King has gone. No, King is back. Okay, I thought the drive may have burned out on King or got wedged in the arena floor somehow. King flipping Prototype. Prototype now underneath King and can use that asymmetrical spinner to try and do some damage to King. King has once again stopped and slowed down. Is being counted out. No, it's moving again. And it's gone flipped by the arena floor flipper and has landed upside down. Interesting. Let's see how King manages to function inverted. Prototype coming in again with that weapon. King is losing momentum, I say losing speed, has now got underneath Prototype again, using its egg beating drum to try and grind away at the wheels. Prototype stationary is doing very well to stay in the fight here. Prototype, it's doing fantastic, although King at the moment is on top. If it were to go to a judge's decision, there is smoke pouring out of Prototype. I think one of the Bosch 750 watt motors has been gotten, and I think there's some smoke from King as well. No, that is just from Prototype at this point. King still inverted. I don't think Prototype has a lot of motion in it right now. King going in with another attack, not letting it get counted out, grinding away again with that drum. Prototype, I do believe Prototype is finished here. There's only a few seconds left of this fight, 15 seconds left. Can Prototype come back, show any sign of motion? No, I don't think so. I think Prototype is well and truly in this situation quite dead. So yeah, that fight goes to King. And another big hit just to make sure. Well, and the arena flipper gets it. Way! The winner of that was King, although Prototype did put up a very good fight against a robot of that archetype. Next up, we have two more robots. This is Ripblade, a replica of a Robot Arena 2 stock AI middleweight. Ripblade is a very unique robot in having the fact that its weapon motor is mounted directly to the shaft on which it spins, with no gearing at all, so it's a direct drive motor to the shaft, just like the original robot in RA2. And as you can see, it does hit with a decent amount of force. We are in slow motion, don't forget, by the way. The crate gets flung away. Ripblade, while looking kind of strange and out of an old game, could be the dark horse of this event. Well, you see that? I got the blade plate off. And this is the Deadly Bones. The Deadly Bones is a large horizontal spinner. However, it is armoured in polycarbonate to keep the weight down. The weight of the Deadly Bones spinner nearing 50 kilograms, meaning it's one of the more powerful horizontal spinners in the competition. Powered by a quad amp-flow motor, the power behind the Deadly Bones shall not be understated. This is a powerful horizontal spinner, with also a rear-mounted front hinge flipper at the back. You do not want to get on the wrong side of the Deadly Bones.
3, 2, 1.
Horizontal against vertical, a classic mashup. Those legs on Ripblade, I'm about to say, are going to be very easy targets for the horizontal spinner of the Deadly Bones. The Deadly Bones coming in again, that weapon already up to speed with the huge torque that can be found within the quad amp flow motor. Ripblade getting thrown around the arena like nobody's business here by the Deadly Bones, and the Deadly Bones coming in again with a massive smack on the front wheels of Ripblade. They are a perfect bite point for a horizontal spinner, just like Bones. Bones coming in again with a massive hit on Ripblade. Ripblade trying to get in and attack with that weapon, and the Deadly Bones comes in with a massive attack again, and it looks like to me that the weapon of Deadly Bones has come off the shaft. I think Ripblade might have done itself a belt snipe, very similar to what Nuts 2 did to Carbide. However, the Deadly Bone still has that other weapon. There we go. There's the rear-mounted front hinge flipper that you can use against Ripblade. However, I do think Ripblade has done another attack there and managed to disable one side of drive. Do remember that it is armoured in polycarbonate. Oh! Ripblade firing itself away. I think Ripblade here has immobilised the Deadly Bones. Ripblade was getting absolutely eviscerated by Deadly Bones at the start of this, and it's completely turned the other way around. There's not a whole lot Bones can do here. It is missing a wheel, and it has stopped. Look at the state of the front of Ripblade. Look, there's barely anything in that wheel left. But it is causing damage using that vertical spinner. Wow, look at that. Ripblade, I do believe, is going through to the semi-final. I had my money on Deadly Bones being a massive horizontal spinner against Ripblade, but no, Ripblade, being a Robot Arena 2 replica, has gone through. Crikey me. And that gives us our results for the eliminators. Let's see how they stack up in the semi-finals. We have Teutonic versus Garnet, the two red robots fight, and Ripblade versus King. Let's see how Teutonic and Garnet get on against each other. We saw earlier how heavily armoured Teutonic is, so I wonder if Garnet can once again damage like it did against the very angry box. Teutonic once again coming in. If he can get a good lift on Garnet, it might be able to flip Garnet up and over. Such a large robot, very cumbersome and very good to flip over. Garnet coming in with that drum is just grinding away, and the axe of Teutonic coming in and slamming down on Garnet. I am seeing smoke from the motor, the weapon motor of Garnet. If they can burn out the weapon motor on Garnet, that would be a good shout, and I think it has done. No, it looks like it's getting up to speed again. Narrowly missed burning out. There's a good lift. Garnet flipping upside down. Teutonic once again coming in with a massive lift. Can Garnet self-right? Yes, it just about lands. Teutonic coming in again, ramming into Garnet. Garnet, can it lift and flip over Teutonic? Not quite, not got the power to flip over Teutonic and just lift up that scoop, lifting it clear. It does actually look like the weapon of Garnet has gone. So that initial attack by Teutonic to disable Garnet's weapon has worked. Garnet is weaponless. It's only got now the lifting scoops that it can use to attack Teutonic with, and it's getting bullied and pushed around the arena by Teutonic. Teutonic once again underneath. Is that spinning? Is that drum once again going on Garnet? I can't tell. No, it has stopped, but it has managed to push Teutonic into the arena wall. I think it's posting. Teutonic is just stuck in the arena wall. It's been wedged in between the railings. Garnet, without a weapon, has once again come back and defeated Teutonic with the lifting scoops. No drum needed. Teutonic, you are stuck, my friend. Unfortunate dropout for Teutonic, a very strong, but otherwise. Next up is Ripblade versus King. Can King once again replicate its success against Prototype? Ripblade, whoa, doing backflips here. Ripblade just showing off with style and grace. King stuck underneath once again. It's grinding away, however, at the base plate of Ripblade. Those wheels on Ripblade once again look very tasty and can be ground away at by King. Woo! Ripblade just flying through the air, hitting the floor disc first and flipping its way back. King has stopped on the arena flipper. Has it pulled a royal and gotten itself jammed? I guess we'll find out when the flipper fires, if it ever does. King has indeed stopped. It does look like it's wedged in the floor a little bit. Never mind. Ripblade freed it with a massive vertical hit. Ripblade upside down. That won't harm it. It has invertible. King has stopped, you know. Why is King not moving at all? It doesn't look like it's wedged in the floor. Has something happened to King? Ripblade, no, King is fine. King is fine. Okay, so Ripblade running away for no reason, then King coming in again with the flipper. Can it flip? Yes, it can. Ripblade upside down. That won't affect it. It'll bounce back. King coming in again with those grinding drum beats, trying to get rid of those front wheels on Ripblade. Imagine if those front wheels go, that blade will start hitting the ground, which would be bad for the control of Ripblade. The egg beat at the back of King, now grinding away at the chassis part of Ripblade. King getting thrown through the air, upside down. That won't affect King at all. Ripblade once again just getting wedged underneath by King. There's not a whole lot that Ripblade can do here against King. King lining it up against the arena wall, getting smacked away again. The two discs and spinners collide. Massive hit there. You've got King desperately trying to do something to Ripblade here. Ripblade bouncing around. It's lost a wheel, so the weapon is now hitting the floor at every opportunity it can. And it's gyroing over. It's missing one of those wheels at the front. That is really going to impede the control of Ripblade, and it flips itself over. It's looking quite out of control. It's going to go out of the arena at any second now if King gets a good wedge in. Oh, okay. King exploded. Nice. Okay, why did King explode? Did Ripblade, did the fact that Ripblade lose a front wheel, meaning that the weapon now bounces on the floor, means that whenever King went in for attack, the weapon was actually bouncing off King? I believe that's what's happened, and it has exploded. a royal explosion from King, which leaves Ripblade versus Garnet. The two robots unlikely to get through to the final have gotten through to the final. This could be an interesting fight. Two vertical spinners, may I say so, both powered by large brushed motors. Ripblade being lifted up by Garnet. Garnet will have no trouble getting underneath Ripblade. However, Ripblade, massive vert, being pung away. Is that a word? Is now. Getting pung away by Garnet. Garnet ripping away at Ripblade. Garnet's lost a scoop. Ripblade actually managed to rip one of the scoops off of Garnet. Garnet coming in again, gyroing around. Ripblade on two wheels. That won't affect it much. It's got just a big spinner on some wheels near. Garnet once again trying to flip Ripblade. Ripblade upside down. Whoa, whoa! Running along its... Whoa, that's crazy. Running along on its weapon there, using it as another wheel. There was fire. And I think Garnet has managed to snipe something in the back of Ripblade. Oh, deviling grab. It's grabbed it by the scoop, and it is now grinding away at that blue chassis part of Ripblade. Ripblade upside down. It is on fire. How much has that actually impeded the robot's performance? Does seem to still have motion? Let's have a look. I can't tell because the disc is banging against the floor, and Garnet won't leave it alone with another massive smack across the arena floor. Ripblade, yeah, it does still have a little bit of motion. So obviously one of the batteries is on fire, but that doesn't impede it entirely, and still has a bit of motion. I would say, yeah, it's definitely still moving. Okay, Ripblade still in this, just about. Or is it? I honestly can't tell. It's getting too pummeled by Garnet at this point. Garnet absolutely bossing this fight here and not letting Ripblade get even a second of free time. Garnet coming in, trying to push Ripblade around. Ripblade going out of the arena. Yeah, I'd climb out if I were you. Oh no, Garnet's not finished. Come in, mate. I'm going to get you. There's no escaping this arena. Oh, right, well, I think we can quite clearly assume that Ripblade lost that one, even though Garnet jumped out the arena too. Yeah, Ripblade's getting eviscerated back there. So this week's winner is Garnet. A huge drum spinner that, honestly, I thought this would go to either Teutonic or LeChop, but yeah, they've been ousted by the big boy that is Garnet. Please join me next time for another episode of Virtual Wars where I awkwardly talk about robots fighting. Until then, bye-bye.